Hey guys, Drewski here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my first impressions over the new PvP game mode coming to Ghost Recon Wildlands called Ghost War. Now, this is your standard 4v4 competitive teamwork and tactical-based shooter where there's different classes that you can choose from that have different abilities to fight the enemy team and overcome the enemy forces in every single round. Now, this is third person, and my comment section when I put up my first video that was just a few gameplay moments of this game mode yesterday was filled with people saying, hey, this is third person, I don't like this because this is third person, etc. Now, that's kind of funny and ironic coming from the comment section of a YouTuber who mainly does Arma, and Arma, like, 90% of the time is third person, and sometimes people play in, like, first person if they're wanting to do some more realistic stuff and realistic missions and such, but a lot of the people that play Arma 3 play in third person because it's a clear advantage, and it's funny that the comment section was like, oh, I hate third person, I know you're primarily Arma YouTuber, but oh my gosh, third person is terrible. But I get it. I mean, third person is a weird flaw of its own kind of meaning. Third person means that there's a camera floating above your head, and if you get behind cover and your guy's face is down behind that cover and he really can't see anything out of his eyes, you still have this camera that's floating above you, above that object, and therefore you're able to see past that object. So if somebody's walking towards you, all they see is an object, like maybe a large crate or something. But then, in reality, you're able to see around that crate because your floating camera is behind you, looking around that corner. And I fully understand why people don't like that, because I mean, in Arma 3, you can clearly abuse it. Here's some footage of me abusing third person in Arma 3. You can clearly look above objects to gain an advantage over the enemy when they don't have an object in front of them either. So you can clearly just pop up, shoot somebody, get down, observe, pop up, shoot somebody, get down, observe. It's that easy. They can't do anything to stop you from being able to look over that object. There are new features in this Ghost Recon PvP mode that actually very, very much nerf third-person peeking. I mean, like, creative features that I was super surprised are actually in this title. For example, the Recruit, which is the first person you play, it's kind of like Rainbow Six Siege, where if you don't select a class, you go in as Recruit, or if you don't have any classes unlocked, you play as Recruit. The Recruit has a drone. He has a drone, which is not what all of the classes have. So he has the ability to at least have a lot more perception of the battlefield. And therefore, if you have a drone at your disposal, you can easily go hover that drone behind objects and be able to see if somebody's there. Also, you have that 3D spotting mechanic where you can look at somebody. If your crosshair is close enough to them, they pop up and they're marked, and they can even see that they're marked, which is a cool mechanic as well. In Battlefield, you can't really tell when you're 3D spotted. There's no way to understand when there's a red dot above your head for the enemy team. But in this game mode, there is. You can see clearly your, like, kind of mini-map has a red circle around it, and there's also a big thing that says marked when you get marked. It's very clear, concise, and easy to know when you're being spotted by the enemy team. So that kind of adds a level of perception so that you can look around objects or see people a little bit easier before you just get shot from a person that was hiding behind a crate. Now, secondly, and most importantly, I think, is the suppression feature that is now in the game.
Okay.
Got him.
Nice.
Woo.
Great job. I'm so surprised.
Man, those other... Yeah, holy crap. I see how powerful Enforcers can be now. I wasn't able to aim or do anything. Suppression is huge. I mean, it is one of the most important things to do in this game is to just suppress the enemy team. If they get up on a cool position where they can third-person peek over some logs or over a piece of dirt, you can suppress the hell out of them and fully disable them from being able to shoot accurately or even be able to see 5 feet past that object. I mean, it's extremely powerful. Even playing as a standard rifleman, and spraying a few rounds out of your AK-47 or your ACR up at an object where a player is hiding behind it, you can suppress them and fully disable them from seeing anything beyond, I would say, 10 feet. And playing as classes like the Enforcer, which has his special ability as having a really, really big MMG, and therefore he's able to suppress people a lot more by making them, first off, blur a lot more than normal suppression, but also have the inability to even aim down their sights of their gun, makes it where you fully disable somebody if you are able to see them and suppress over their object. Not a lot of games get suppression really right either. I think Battlefield 3 did it kind of crazily, but this game feels pretty dang solid. I mean, in combat, you probably are going to put your head down when you're getting suppressed, and you're probably not going to be able to perceive things as well if you do have bullets flying right over your piece of cover. When somebody's fully auto-spraying at your piece of cover in Ghost Recon Ghost War, it's extremely effective. You can't see anything, you're blind, you're just totally unable to do anything about it. Therefore, I think that third person in a way is nerfed because you can scout people out, you can disable them from looking over the object, and unlike Arma 3, like this person down below me that is shooting back up at my window can't do anything. He literally just can't fight against me being able to see above that object. In Ghost Recon, otherwise, I can make somebody not able to see above an object. I can force them with any gun, with any class in the game, to be able to stop doing what they're doing. Now, this is only countered by one class, which is the Point Man. He is immune to suppression. He can't basically get suppressed. He can't get flashed, and that's his special ability. I'm totally fine with that because that means that it's going to be 1 out of 4 guys, and even if Point Man's going to be played, which he's played pretty rarely too, he's going to be able to totally deny suppression, which is pretty interesting. Now, currently in the open beta, we have 6 classes. We have the Tank. The Tank is a guy that I really like to play as because he has 110% more health than usual. So he's got a little bit over twice as much health than the standard player. His special ability isn't just that, though. He can also steal the marks, the 3D spotting, from all of his teammates onto him. Now, this is kind of a cool feature, so the Tank can basically get the attention of the enemy team and kind of bait the enemy out. I think the Tank is the best bait character ever. You can literally just bait somebody into a hallway, bait them into a house, bait them into an area where you have a sniper overlooking or something, and it just is absolutely a very, very good teamwork-based class. But then also in close quarters combat, you are an absolute monster. The LMG or the P90, if you choose to have the P90, are both really, really good at close quarters. The LMG is a little bit better at longer range just because it can suppress better, and the P90 is very, very fast RPS. I'm gonna guess that it's a higher damage per second maybe at very, very close range. And then also the fact that you have over 200% health is extremely powerful in close quarters because you can just turn a corner and spray somebody down before they can even do anything about you. Now, the Scout has the ability to have a UAV that sees footprints, it sees movement, and also has, like, audible scanning. So when you're using the Scout drone, it's actually quite interesting. You can hear footsteps at a very, very far distance. So when you're flying the Scout drone around, you'll actually hear somebody, like, walking in the forest, like, probably, I would say, 60 meters away, 60 meters down from your drone. And then you can use that audible detection to be able to really look and scan through that forest until you finally find that person, pinpoint your crosshair on them, and then are able to 3D mark them. It's a really cool feature. I think that, like, being able to hear the footsteps of people makes it where if you see a drone up in the air, you know that, hey, I need to stop moving because that drone can basically hear or detect my movement. And also, there's even visual cues if you're looking in the right direction that somebody is stepping around that area. So you can actually zoom in on these visual cues, and then you'll see the person, and once you see the person, you can mark them. Now, although I haven't played the artillery character much because I've been so busy with the Tank and the Enforcer just because they're so gosh dang fun, my friend Via has been using him quite a lot, and he is especially effective fighting against snipers and people that are held up in those third-person peeking areas. So again, if you're in an advantageous spot, is that a word? Advantageous? I don't know. Advantageous? Yeah, advantageous. If you're in an advantageous spot where you're up on a hill or something, you've got some good cover and you can peek over it, that is, again, kind of something that you're using third person to your advantage. So the artillery guy can throw up his drone up in the air, and it'll fly over to the spot where he wants it to fly, and then he can mark from the drone a spot where artillery will drop in that pinpoint exact location. So if there's a good piece of cover that the enemy team is using, you can use your artillery guy every few, I would say, minute or so to be able to drop artillery on certain areas to really get them out of those spots. It's very efficient for, let's say, getting a sniper out of a position or getting someone out of cover while someone else is watching that spot and able to hit that character as they run out of that piece of cover. Now let's talk about the maps. We all talked about the classes, so how about the maps? How are the maps in the game? I think the maps are actually quite good. I think some of them are kind of big. They definitely have a lot of balance in them. I don't think that any map was like balanced towards one side. They all had pretty equal map design, and all the kind of areas of cover were pretty balanced as well. Even some maps where one half of the map was uphill for one team, and then the other like half the map was downhill, I still feel like as if those maps were balanced to both sides, even though one team started uphill, one team started downhill. There's 5 maps in the beta, and over around 7 hours of play, I can say that I got extremely comfortable with most of those maps. Like, comfortable enough where I feel like I needed more maps, and there's going to be 8 in the final game, and I feel like there should be even more than 8. Something like 16 or even 20 maps in full release. The game modes are so fast-paced that they go through them quite quickly. It's not like Battlefield where you play on a map for like 40 minutes or you play on a map for 50 minutes and then you just go to the next map finally. It's more like, the way the game mode works at the moment is that it's best of 3. So if you win 2 rounds in a row, you're automatically done with the entire match. You won that match, the enemy team goes and you requeue with different people. So if you win, let's say, 5 matches in a row and they're 2 rounds each, I'm talking maybe 25, 30 minutes, and you've probably played all of the maps in the game so far. I know it's hard to make maps, and I understand, like, it's very, very difficult to balance maps and have them be tested multiple hundreds of times and bug fixes and all that stuff, but I still think that we need more maps than 8. And also, some of the maps kind of, I guess some of the rounds ended very, very quickly, as if, like, 4 players wasn't enough for a team to have. Almost as if I would like to see how 6v6 in the same exact game mode would work out. Now, this is going to need the new classes that are coming out. In the final game, there's going to be 12 classes instead of 6. And the classes, the 6 other classes are all visible right now. But I would really like to see how 6v6 works out, because I feel like these maps are big enough that flanking routes are definitely a viable option, and 6v6 might be pretty interesting. I think one thing I would really, really like in the game is a 6v6 type of game mode that very much mirrors the type of combat that Future Soldier had, where there is 2 spawn points, but the map is very circular overall, so you can spread out, you can really go down different lanes, and there might be objectives that pop up around the map at certain points in time that kind of make it a more half objective based game mode, half team deathmatch. But I would like to see a constant respawn type of game mode be in the game as well, because I don't know, just personally for me, I kind of get tired sometimes when I have to, half the time I'm playing a game, be dead on the ground. Have a game mode where if it's early in the morning and I just woke up and I'm half asleep, have a game mode where even if I'm playing bad, I can still play the game without just being downed all the time. You know what I mean? Bring me back to the Call of Duty days. Bring me back to the Halo 2 days. Even the Future Soldier days. Oh, one thing I wanted to note too. Okay, let me just say, Anybody in the viewers play Future Soldier? Because I did, and it was a great game. The multiplayer, I loved it. It was one of my favorite multiplayer games of Xbox 360. There is, no joke, elements of the Future Soldier music in the Ghost War main menu. I'll play it for you guys right now. Future Soldier theme. Ghost War theme. I know, I was really excited, and I have to thank whoever is the music designer or music producer for this game. You put Future Soldier feelings back in my heart, and I got excited because it's such a good game. Now, what is my overall impression of this game mode so far? I mean, I am actually pretty excited for it. I think that the new classes make third-person gameplay really, really good. It's very creative. It's definitely original, I feel like, because there's a lot of different elements that I think they're trademarks of the Ghost Recon games in the past few years, like the droning, the ability to see players, and the ability to have like special kind of futuristic equipment, but also having totally new ideas like suppression be just a huge factor in the game. I mean, they buffed suppression so much so that third-person peeking is almost not even a problem, almost not even an issue anymore. And honestly, the gameplay is pretty dang good. Playing with random players, I had a lot of fun on this game mode yesterday. I think all we need in this person versus person game mode to make it a very, very strong and long-lasting game mode is that we really need a lot more content. We need more maps. I feel like we need more classes to be coming out in the future to kind of keep people on their toes. A plethora of game modes would be nice as well, and also having the ability to really up that player count. Like, I would honestly be okay with a team deathmatch 8v8 sort of game mode where there's common fast respawns. I think that would be perfect. That would be the game I would play for so long. And I think that if they do the weapon progression right, it's going to be very, very interesting, where you want to get this certain weapon, well, you have to get to this certain level of your character, or you have to get this many headshots. I think that there's going to be a lot of depth in the progression as well, and I'm pretty dang excited to see where this goes. Again, this is a game mode that I feel like has a ton, I mean a butt ton of potential. The main thing it needs now is content. Maps, game modes, higher player populations, and some llama minibuses!